It is time for the Indie Wrap, and we are here on location at the Melbourne Global Game Jam, an annual event where developers from all around the world gather to create a game within 48 hours based on a theme. This year's theme is we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. So there are many potential opportunities to interpret this theme. Let's go see how they've done it. Firstly, we have Checkmates, which takes the perception theme rather to its spirit. It's a co-op game with two players who can see certain elements of the level that the other can't see, and you have to try and guide each other to your respective endpoints. So you may have a spike on your screen that the other player can't see, it's constantly running into. So you have to communicate with them through a series of grids. It's really fun to play with two people in particular, to have them just cooperate, yell at each other. It's a sort of game where by the end you really do want to high-five the other person.
I'm James Greenaway, and I worked on a game called Chessmates? No, Checkmates. We were deliberating both titles and we ended up calling it Checkmate. My teammates started developing this concept and I had a completely different concept. And then that concept just started developing really quickly, and I don't know, I just started working on art mainly for the game. It was supposed to make the players think that it was just a normal cooperative game. So when you first start the game, both players can kind of see everything that's happening in the stages, but then after about 3 or 4 stages in, you start realizing that half of the things are invisible to the other player. But you don't know that they're invisible because you can't see what they can see. So you're just watching your teammate kind of run into a wall of spikes, and he doesn't really understand that he's making a mistake, and vice versa. You know, sometimes when you have too many people working on a project in a small amount of time, you can really get people pulling the game in different directions. But both times I've game jammed, I've found it really, everybody just kind of does what they're good at, you know, and it's a very harmonious kind of production over the 48 hours.
Up next, we have Adversarial Manifesto, a two-player sort of bullet hell game where you're trying to shoot each other and dodge each other's words. The main thing here is that things that you're throwing at each other are indeed words that are coming from a randomly generated dictionary on either side of the screen. You eventually form sentences with the words that you form, so you end up just with these bizarre combinations of nonsense sentences like brain freeze, it's the way of the future. Get some good value out of just the strings of nonsense that come out of it. And it is also fun to try and just dodge a stream of exclamation points, which is, I guess, sort of apt for a shoot 'em up.
My name's Andrew Maxwell. We made a game called Adversarial Manifesto. Well, we had a lot of trouble coming up with a game that fit the theme completely. We're talking about perception and where that was getting us. We didn't come up with anything. It was fun. We spent most of our time just talking about how much we didn't like the theme and how it was about pretentious philosophical quotes in general. So we made a game about pretentious philosophers trying to come up with deep and meaningful quotes. Basically all of today has just been iterating. We spent the first day just talking. The second day was just flat out development, and the second day has just been playing the game and tweaking it and having fun.
What's the most nonsense phrase off the top of your head that you come up with that's been formed out of this game?
Shotgun is purple? No, I don't know. They're all nonsense. The challenge is coming up with something meaningful.
Finally, we have Screen Cheat, a 4-player multiplayer shooter where the main conceit is that everyone is invisible. The only way to sort of find out where everyone is in the map is to screen cheat, to look on each other's corner of the map and use the colors and the various details in the environment to determine where they are and to point your shotgun right there. It was one of the more popular games here at the Game Jam, primarily because of all the bright, happy colors, but also as the potential to be a fun little multiplayer experience.
Yeah, I'm Justin. I worked on...
It's called Screen Cheat.
Yeah. It's called Screen Cheat.
This is
and
just-
it's been a long couple of days.
Yeah. We got a pretty tricky theme this year, and we were really throwing around a bunch of different ideas to deal with, like different perspectives of the world. Different characters would see different things. We weren't sure how we were going to make it work. On split screen, we were worried that people would just look at the other screen and it'd ruin the experience. So then at one point we just thought, what if we made a game about screen cheating? And then we got Screen Cheat.
I think it took us about 2 hours or so to...
I think it was longer than that.
Yeah, 2 or 3 hours of just idea making before we settled that we wanted something along these lines. And then from there it developed fairly quickly to the form we have now, and we got our initial map design, which was similar to what we ended up with.
It was just a really fun experience, and then it was really great just kind of discovering, because it was, for me anyway, it was my first game jam full stop, and it was really cool to just discover that I could make, and me and groups of friends could make actually something really cool and really fun in like 2 days.
So as you saw, there were many interesting and varied interpretations on this year's theme, and indeed there was a lot of room for it. You can check out some of these games and indeed all the other games that were displayed at this year's Game Jam on the Global Game Jam website. So that does it for this edition of the Indie Wrap. Come back next time where we explore more things from the wonderful world of indie.